Hey, what is up, everyone? Today I'm going to talk about how if you give them bread and circuses, they will never revolt. And I'm sure you guys heard this quote before. It's crazy. Right now, we are seeing so much bread and circuses. It's crazy. I mean, this quote was said in around 100 AD by a Roman philosopher, Juvenal. And he said this right before Rome declined, faced a tremendous decline. And I think he was pretty much saying, hey, Roman society, they're comfortable. Give them beer, give them wine, give them food, give them free food, all that cheap dopamine, give it to them. And they will do whatever you say. They will pay those taxes. They will be obedient. They will be sloth, and they will just follow your orders. I think right now as I speak, there are so many critical and important issues in this country. If you just look, you don't even have to look far. Look at gas prices. Look at inflation. I bought 2 pizzas yesterday at the store. These were frozen pizzas, mind you, frozen. It was almost $28. That's insane. I mean, so if I worked minimum wage, I would have to work 3 hours. Let's just say I made good money, $20 an hour. I'd have to work over an almost hour and a half to buy those 2 frozen, processed pizzas. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Unacceptable. There's so much food insecurity. I think the war in the Middle East is awful, and the famine that we're seeing. At the same time that all of this stuff is happening, there's so much, turmoil. There's also some of the most exciting things when it comes to the entertainment world. There's these huge activities that require focus, and look at these events that are happening right now, and then look at the distractions. So, for example, all the circuses and events, that's literally the World Cup, literally the Knicks game, or the NBA. It's the hockey. It's the UFC fights. It's all this stuff. All this stuff is coming together, and it's not looking great. This distraction actually helps the upper class and the elite. Because if they can keep you distracted, if they can give you entertainment, how could you riot or protest? How can you start a revolution if you're fat, docile, drunk on beer, and sedated with all this entertainment, all this sports betting, all this stuff? All this cheap dopamine is making you feel engaged, but there's any lack of real world follow through in your life. So you're consuming. Maybe it feels good to consume, right? But how does it make your life better? It doesn't. It takes your mind off the prize. It takes your mind off of the reality of the situation. I think right now it's easier than ever just to get processed foods, doom scroll in the algorithm, get those algorithmic feeds. Can't even say that. Algorithmic. Anyways. And the entertainment is dirt cheap. So you have all this combining together, and it's just really sad because almost everyone I know is just kind of escaping in this. We chase ourselves from distraction to distraction, and we state that everything is fine, but is it really? Is our standard of living getting better in this world? Are we making material change in this world? Or are we staying stagnant? If you were an elite, what would you do to stay in power? How would you sedate the masses? Well, what I would do is this. I would give tons of cheap entertainment. I would get everyone addicted to sports betting and gambling. I would get everyone access to cheap alcohol and beer and stuff. I would create these people they look up to that are into this stuff so that they want to be like them, and then they follow what they do. I mean, guys, it's crazy. There was literally yesterday a nitro circus on the White House lawn. Literally a circus, guys, on the White House lawn while there's war going on in the Middle East, while there's inflation that's neck snapping high. A literal circus on the lawn. They're mocking you guys. They're mocking us. A UFC fight on the White House lawn for the 250th birthday. Endless football matches here in the Americas. And then the finals, the basketball finals, the protests and the riots that erupted all across the city. You should have seen it all over social media. I mean, it was wild. People were throwing Molotovs. They were jumping on cars. There was people getting stabbed, arrested. Like, this is a game. This is just entertainment. And they're causing all that. This is what they want. I'm telling you guys, this is what they want. I may sound crazy, but I'm telling you, if you were an elite and you wanted to subdue the masses, you just got to give them infinite entertainment. And they won't question anything. I mean, what blew my mind about all the protests and riots across New York City the other day. So first of all, games should be fun. Games should be about celebrating others. There were people wearing the Spurs jerseys, and they were literally getting beaten up, almost beaten bad in the hospital, just because they wore the opposing jersey. Is that what we want to do for America? If you wear a different fucking jersey, you get beaten down? If you had a kid and you gave him a Cubs jersey and he went to a Cubs versus Yankees match, you want your little kid to get beaten down? No. Why? What are we doing in society, guys? Come on. This is so pathetic. This honestly, and I had the podcast before this was on I'm going over many kind of themes right now, but essentially, I think we are an empire in decline. And I think the fall of Rome kind of perfectly captures what's happening now in America. Now, I don't know if it'll take 100 plus years for America to fall, but there's several things that you can see that are kind of like, oh, yeah, that's fall of Rome vibes. You know, what even further blew my mind with all these protests and riots that erupted is people are protesting and rioting against the enemy, and they were actually destroying people's livelihoods. But what was crazy is they didn't go against the elite. They didn't go against the people that pull the strings. They literally went against each other. Think about it. That's just like COVID days. That's just like the COVID days when they would tell us, rat on your neighbor, 6 feet apart, blah, blah, blah. Same exact vibes. They're pitting us against each other. So, that was crazy. The elites, they want to pit us against each other because they don't want to be... If they know if they can pit you against each other, you won't go against them. There's not enough energy. So they'll keep delivering these and make us as sedated as possible so we can avoid the reality of what this country has become. Think about that. So they'll keep this entertainment flowing. They'll keep the dopamine cheap. They will keep us distracted so we can avoid the reality of the situation. And it's sad to say, but that quote, give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Such a famous quote. Because it's true. I don't know anybody protesting on any real world issues right now. But I have several group texts of people talking about the next football game, the next hockey game, the next fight, the basketball game, the games. Look at all these games. When in reality, people can't afford to put gas in their tank. They can't afford to feed their family. You know, people are dying all over. But we're talking about games. Anyways, guys, I hope you like this one. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.